So, Samurai Wolverine was not 3D printed. Isn't that weird? Normally when you see me, I'm 3D printing, but today, it's all about foam smithing. The concept for this whole project began in August of 2019 with Endgame. I was searching through Instagram and came across some guy actually drew the Avengers in samurai armor, and that got the wheels a turning. I'm like, I want an Avengers cosplay done like a samurai. As I had a short list of a few ideas that I was going to use for my concept, there was War Machine, there was Captain America, but a few of us here at Magnetic Nerd are huge X-Men fans. So Wolverine immediately went to the top. And I mean, who doesn't like Wolverine? Wolverine, he's gritty, he's vulgar, he's no nonsense. I mean, it's Wolverine. He has claws in his hands that can cut anything. And if that's not enough, he can heal himself. So, Wolverine won the contest. I was on figuring out how I'm going to turn Wolverine into a samurai. Luckily enough, around the same time, a company released a figurine of Wolverine in samurai armor. So I'm like, bingo! Getting the best screenshots I could of that figurine, I set off into, I'm going to call it round one of trying to cut foam. As I tried to get this figurine to fit to my body, it wasn't working. I began to rework how I was going to do the whole project. I actually like traditional samurai armor. So, round two was trying to blend this figure with traditional samurai armor. And that didn't work either. On to round three. Round three, after I debated in my head forever and went through an entire pack of foam and wasted a heck of a lot of time, I decided straight up traditional armor. What you see behind me is actually very closely modeled after a 16th century samurai armor set. I decided what style of samurai armor I wanted to go with. Now the next argument was, what style of Wolverine did I want to go with? And the Wolverine I decided, I mean, it was an easy debate. It was classic 90s Wolverine. It was the yellow, the blue, he had the little wings coming off his cowl, he had the little wings coming off of the top of his boots. Your classic Jim Lee Wolverine from the X-Men series. With all the internal debate solved and my 2 practice runs under my belt, it was finally time to do the real thing. On to foam. The foam, it was simple. I used 10mm foam for the chest plate and 6mm foam for everything else. The foam smithing part for this cosplay was really easy. Samurai armor is very simple, very straightforward. It all came together super fast. I used the Dremel to go on all the edges and clean it up and make it a little more realistic. For some added durability when strapping this whole thing together, I found a nifty little kit at Harbor Freight for grommets. It's cheap, it's easy to use, and hopefully it'll keep my foam from tearing apart when I tie this all together. With the foam all cut to shape and the grommets all punched in, it was on to heat sealing and shaping, and you use your heat gun for both. So you want to heat it up, which makes the foam more pliable, and you can form it to your body, your arms, your head, whatever. But you're also heat sealing it so that you have a nice, solid, impermeable base that you can paint on. Foam is porous by nature, so if you try to paint on regular foam, you're going to need a lot more paint because all that paint is going to soak into the foam. For the arm guards and the shin guards, traditionally you're using a piece of wood or maybe a beefed up leather strip. For me, it was foam. So I cut out foam strips on the bandsaw, contact cemented them down, and away I went. For the thigh guards, it was another real easy process. I cut out large foam squares, put smaller foam squares on for some detail. Cool feature about this cosplay is I was smart and made it come apart. So that way it's incredibly easy to pack this in a suitcase. For the forearm, or oregote in Japanese, it was another real easy cut, glue together, away I went. The helmet was another easy part. I just modified an Evil Ted pattern. Evil Ted has a really nice pattern for a samurai helmet. The only thing I did was add the little ears. Evil Ted is considered by many to be one of the founding fathers of modern cosplay. He's been creating costumes for Hollywood for years. His site, he has a useful supply of all kinds of templates, from helmets to armor to swords, you name it. He's got an easy pattern for it. I use super glue for all the small detailed parts. Once done with all the heat sealing and the forming, it was time to plasti dip this. And plasti dip is another step that you use to increase durability, to give yourself more of a base to paint off of. And a lot of people like to use plasti dip for their cosplay armor builds because it's flexible. It won't rip, it won't tear, it won't crack. Painting this thing was really simple too. Wolverine's color scheme is not that complicated. But a couple notes for painting, because plasti dip is black, I actually had to go over with a coat of white. That way the yellow popped out. I use a variety of inexpensive acrylic paints. And then when I got into the detail painting, I wanted to do some mild cell shading, just to kind of give it that cartoon feel, 90s comic book look. With the paint dry, it was on to all the fun little details, especially the little flaps. They're called kusazuri. I used about 10 yards of cord to put all those little knots and loops into those 6 pieces. I did work a little bit of 3D printing into this. I cannot put the 3D printer away at all. Small little X-Men logo that goes on little 5 pieces, 3D printed. This project even encompassed a little bit of sewing. It's an aspect of costume and cosplay that we here at Magnetic Nerd are trying to learn. So this was a really good, get our feet wet kind of a project. I hope you liked this video. If you did, you all know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit the little bell, leave us a comment, let us know you liked it. And stay tuned in the future. I'll have a couple more videos coming out because I'm going to get into how I made the mask and the swords for Armor Wolverine. And as always, see you next time, guys. For me to throw that allowed for I put I don't know that I man that